think you know how to brand. A lot of people think they do, and they get it wrong. They've bred the confusion that is now out there on the marketplace, and then they wonder how it happened. Well, it helped with you. So I'm here to help you with Branding 101, the basics, the principles, and the cornerstones for you to develop a solid foundation in branding. The first thing you've got to understand is it's about your community. And if you don't have a community, that's the end goal. The whole point is to build a reputation that develops into a brand that then develops into a culture. Think about it. Is Tesla, Nike, Apple, are they brands or are they cults? Do they have a following? Do they have people that naturally want to align themselves with anything that Apple does? Let's be blunt. It's not the best phone in the market, but it's easy. And it's got convenience. And I'll take it even further. When someone's got an Android phone and the person next to them's got an iPhone, doesn't the person with the iPhone feel as though that's slightly better than the person with the Android? Even though 9 times out of 10, the Android phones have better capability, better memory, and they're up to date. In fact, they're bringing out technology that Apple is only now capturing up on. But you still feel slightly better. There's that snob appeal that you have a luxury brand that you want to align with in Apple. Now, how can that be said about you? Again, understand what branding is. It's not a logo. It's a feeling. It's an emotive trigger. I say to you, Tesla, you think of a thing. I say to you, Apple, you think of a thing. I say Harley Davidson. You straight away have this immersive reaction to the names that I'm saying. Without seeing the brand, without seeing the logo, without seeing any of those things, because they are not what makes the brand. A brand creates an emotive trigger. A brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So ask yourself that question. If you were not in a room, what would people say about you? Let's say, for argument's sake, that you own a shoe shop and you've got every range and color of shoe out there. But some of the mums are going over there because they're buying yellow shoes for their daughters. And all of a sudden you get a crowd of people going in there for yellow shoes for their daughters. And the only thing they're talking about is, hey, you want yellow shoes? Oh, the best place to go is Jimmy's Shoes, a great place for yellow. You have been identified. You've been labeled with a brand because why? You weren't in control of it. Brands today control the narrative. Here's a little tip for you straight off the bat. Go onto Google or any search engine you like, type your name in, type your company, and what is the first thing that pops up? And if it is not your website, then you are not in control of your brand. If it's Instagram, YouTube, any of those other things, what I call borrowed platforms, you're not in control of your narrative. And the whole point about building a brand is to control the narrative so that when people are talking about you and you are not in that room, you're in control of the story that they are talking about. When you are online, look at your Twitter, look at your X, look at your Instagram, look at your Facebook, look at any of those profiles. In fact, look at all of them. Do they share the same picture? Do they share the same narrative? Is your bio on LinkedIn the same as it is on Facebook? Is your picture the same? Or is it the typical kind of on LinkedIn, you're leaning up against a pile of books that you'll never read and trying to look all posh and fancy like you wanted to be an attorney, and you go over to Facebook and you're sitting in a hot tub with a Mai Tai and this girl's gone wild? There is a myth, a misconception, a damn right freaking lie that you need to adapt and edit your persona, personality, and story depending on the platform you are on. Bullshit. Nike's the same on every single platform. It doesn't change for you. Tesla, Apple, Harley Davidson, any brand that you love is exactly the same on LinkedIn as it is on TikTok. It doesn't change for the platform it's on. So stop thinking, oh, I've got to be this over here. I've got to be this over. No, you've got to be you everywhere, because until you are impossible to misunderstand, you're not creating a brand that you can get behind. You're not creating a brand that others can get behind. And when you know you've got a good brand is when something's posted and everyone else comes to the defense or support of that statement. That's when you know you're building up the culture. That's the next step from the brand, which is what we all want to be. It's why brands get followed. That's why your favorite brands that we're talking about, anything they come out with, you're on board with, even though someone else may produce something better, cheaper. It's irrelevant. When you've got a brand and a community and a culture, they want to be part of that. And they don't see the competition when you've done a damn good job. And here's the bad thing. A brand will take years to build. If you just fire $100,000 of Facebook ads, then you've got attention. You've not got a brand. Brand creates substance. It's strong. It's that tree that took 100 years to grow. It's really, really strong. But the sad thing is today, we're very fast to talk and very slow to listen. And the court of public opinion is out there to kill brands. So you may have a competitor that will literally just put something out on one of these social platforms, throwing dirt and discouragement at you, and even calling out your brand. And damage can be done whether or not it's true or false. So a brand will take years to build and take a day to fall over. So you've got to be in control of that narrative. You've got to focus on it because quite simply it's the cornerstone of what's keeping you on business. And when someone says something that's wrong, don't sit there and go, oh, well, it'll kind of wash over. You don't know when that's going to pop up. You don't know whether it's going to gain momentum. And when it gains momentum and starts growing legs, you can't do anything about it. So focus on your brand. Focus on your brand like it's a living organism that's actually controlling and helping your business, because that's exactly what it is. And people will often ask, what's the ROI of a good brand? Well, I've just told you. Will you buy products from Apple? Yes or no? That's the power of a brand. What you think is right. You want to make sure that everyone else out there thinks that the best option, the best choice is you. And when they do, that's because you've created a solid brand, and that's the ROI of a good brand. If you are not in control of your brand, somebody else is, and that's expensive.